What's up, everybody? Today's gonna be a great day in the shop. Last week it was like 100 degrees every single day, and today it's rainy and cool, so it's gonna be great. I'm gonna work on the TROG car. Timmy's got a bunch of stuff to do on the 50 Chevy truck. He's gotta make a flat firewall for it. I'm gonna have Taylor part out a truck that I bought, basically just two part out. And then Matt's on the 55 Chrysler, and Jack's on the Carnegie low light. So it's gonna be a great day. Enjoy. The motor's actually fine. We thought the motor was like seized or locked up, so we took some spark plugs out and put a bunch of transmission fluid in the cylinders, only to find out that it was the AC compressor was froze up, which caused everything to not turn. So we took the serpentine belt off, the motor turned over fine, but now I'm just trying to clean all this crap out of here because we're pulling the motor. It's an LS, it's good.
Now everybody will know you're here. Hold that bow tie, alright?
No, definitely not.
See Jeremy's new kit? See his new kit? Fucking shit, dude.
I kind of like it.
Boys are gonna be scared. Pulling up the track like that.
How dare you downgrade that Denali motor to a Chevy? That is a Denali Envoy motor.
Make sure it's straight. I like the bash bar. I like the bash bar.
Kinda great. It's hilarious. Can't believe it came off in one.
One of the things that is least talked about with building cars is the preparation it takes to do the restoration on these cars. And really when it basically starts with needing to be media blasted, which is like the worst job ever. It really sucks. I have Media Blast Matt Brown here. This car, you know, typically the jams need to get blasted. This car, you know, it's been stripped. You know, this is all like been mechanically stripped, just with like, you know, we use paint stripper and then just like sandpaper, like on a DA, to get the paint off. You can't really media blast in the middle of a panel. It potentially will warp the panel. So Media Blast Matt is doing the worst thing ever. This is the shittiest part of doing any of this stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, funny thing is I can't get the sandblaster to hook into the thing. Then I realized I have like the big port on it for the paint booth, so I need to go change that.
Well, unfortunately, this is what has to get done. And I hate giving anybody the task of doing this. It's just something that has to get done. And every one of us knows it, you know, so it's not like a job for one person. It's who's ever working on whatever they're working on. You know, Matt came to me yesterday and he's like, I gotta blast the jams. And, you know, where do you want me to do it, kind of a thing. So unfortunately, he's forced to do this. Thankfully, it's not 1,000,000 degrees out. It's obviously not gonna rain, but it's just something that has to happen. So props to Matt for doing what needs to be done. And props to all the guys for doing what needs to be done, because it sucks, but it is totally something that has to happen with everything that we do. I mean, every one of these full start to finish cars always requires a bunch of media blasting. I mean, it's great when you can use a Sandblast cabinet because you can just stand there, but getting suited up and like literally being in the outdoors sandblasting is probably the worst thing that anybody could do. So God bless you if that's what you do for a living. Thankfully, it's not something we have to do all the time, but it's something that has to be done every time. So anyways.
Hi, hello. Can't see anything now.
Fogging up?
Fogging up big time.
So pretty much all in here, you know, all of this is sanded, but like all in these nooks and crannies, you can't really get to it, you know, and then all this seam sealer, this factory seam sealer comes out with the media blaster. So it's pretty important. You know, obviously you can't get in there with the DA, but the media blaster will just, like, once he aims that thing in there, it's gonna like take all that right out. I can't be in there. Sorry, guys. No sandblasting footage. Al and Ryan finished putting the radiator in, and then Al came last night and set timing, and they did fire it and get it running. So let's see what needs to happen. All right. So what was your name again?
Derek.
Derek? Yeah, tell me about this. So you said you bought it when?
32 years ago, 1990. I used to go to Lime Rock because I've always liked Mustangs. I had a 65, not a fastback. That got stolen in New York City.
Oh my gosh.
So I promised myself that I was going to get another one, but it had to be a fastback. It had to be 4-speed, dual exhaust. I think it's an original GT.
Cool.
And you know, the right time came along. The guy blew up the motor, and he was pissed off.
So he was racing it at the track, blew it up, and you just went up to him in the paddock and said, "Hey."
Reached in my back pocket.
No way.
Made him an offer.
Cool.
Gave him a down payment. The next day it was mine. Lowered, lightened, big motor. Those are 68 wheels, 14-inch.
Yep.
With the GT hubcaps. I think it's an original GT because it's got the GT type instrument panel and the way the dual exhaust comes out under the rear bumper. Yeah, it's so much fun to drive. Every time I take it out,
yep,
which is almost every day, somebody tries to buy it from me. I got
Let me know when you want to sell it.
I got people who think they're on my list, but I don't have a list because the list would be this long.
Well, a very cool car. Thanks for coming by.
Oh, thank you.
It's really neat. I'm right now heading to my friend Dave's shop to use his louver press. We have to louver the deck lid, or the little trunk, the Race of Gentlemen car. Since we put the radiator in the back, we now need to be able to get the hot air out. So sure, we could drill some holes in there, but holes aren't as cool looking as louvers. So we're going to Dave's, do some louvering. That's it. Hello. How are you? Oh. So other than having a heart attack, how you doing?
So I got a case of them.
Perfect. Have you had to replace many of them?
Yeah, a couple, but they last a good long time.
So you just hook it on the back side of that thing and then
But make sure it's square.
line up them lines. Yeah. Now what you're hooking it on there, is that...
It's part of the die.
So, okay, so that's not, you didn't have to like come up with that
Nope.
little distance or whatever.
Nope. Picture of the completed job.
Yeah, so we just finished up doing the louvers on this thing. I think they came out awesome. It's,
Most of them.
yeah, most of them. There's a couple that aren't perfect, but I think for the Race of Gentlemen car, it will be perfect. This is the nicest part of, well, other than the engine, this is probably the nicest part of the whole car. So, Dave, thank you so much for allowing me to
Not a problem.
use your louver press. This is awesome.
Anytime. That's my car club in 1980.
Okay.
That's at Frosty Acres. Every one of those cars is a finished car. They're all in the car club. Probably 6 or 7 of them are dead already. The guys. Mine's the one with the biggest chop.
The biggest chop?
Yep.
Let's see if I can find it.
I bet you can.
Biggest chop.
Yep.
Mm,
You got it.
is that it?
Yep. 40 Pontiac.
Okay. Very cool.
My favorite color, Hugger Orange.
Awesome. And then this is sort of recently.
Yeah, that's 2005, I think.
And the motor in that car was what?
Crossfire flathead.
And how fast did you go?
145.
145. That's great. And then you blew the motor up.
Blew the motor up. Never got an official time. Blew it up long before I got to the finish line.
Yeah.
Come to find out, one of the plugs in the crankshaft came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What now? How many times have you raced at Bonneville?
twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
Was that the best time?
Yeah.
The time you blew the motor. That was the car worked the best.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. Well, that's got to be an experience.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Very cool.
My other roadster made a feature article in a magazine in Australia, because that's where the car is.
Really?
Yeah.
What's this picture from?
That is Ronnie Abbott and Hell's a Poppin'.
Okay. I went to look to buy that car when Ozzy had it.
Yeah, yeah. I sold it on eBay.
You sold it?
Yeah, for Ozzy.
Yeah. And then somebody local bought it, right?
Yeah.
And so I think the guy, they kind of finished, they like painted it, but they didn't like, that car hit the wall, the front axle was bent.
They didn't do a lot of restoration work.
Yeah, I think they just painted it up and they bring it to the shows.
And he put a motor with alcohol injection, or Hillborn injection on it.
That's the car now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I went to look at that when Ozzy had it, because that was when I wanted to put our front engine car together, and it turned out to be just too much of a old race car. You know what I mean? The rear end was just welded to the frame.
Scary shit.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, I don't want to.
He set national records with that car.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That car's short, like 97 inches or something like that, right?
Not very long.
That's crazy. So how fast was he? How fast was that? Did that go back then?
160
Wow.
with a blown small block in it.
Yeah. 160. So that's probably like probably high 8s, low 9s.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean 150-ish would probably be 9.0, right?
Thereabouts, I would think. Yeah.
But I guess it also depends on. They didn't really hook
He just
up.
died here in the last year or so.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So he was from the area, and as far as a drag racer goes, I mean, he raced all over the country, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He raced Don Garlitz at the Nationals and beat him.
Yeah, there's a video of that, I think one of the SoCal Speed Shop video or something like that.
Probably.
It was like a 62 Summer Nationals or something like that.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, he ran Abbott Glass in Schenectady.
Yeah. Well, that's that. I had the deck lid all louvered up. It came out awesome. I'm really, really surprised how good it came out. Dave is a great teacher. Usually I just bring things up to Dave and say, could you louver this for me? And then I come back a week later and it's done. This was just something he said, if you want to get it done, you have to do it. So he allowed me to go use his shop and use his louver press, and I really appreciate that. So shout out to Dave for allowing me to do that. It's also nice to talk to him. I don't get to see him as much as I used to. I mean, all the like old hot rod guys that are from around here, like those guys are the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. I mean, they're all the guys that, when I met Al Clark, Al kind of introduced me to, the rest of the guys. The upstate, Albany area is a pretty small area, and there's not that many, people that are into old hot rods.
The next lights turn right.
So it's just cool to, be able to catch up, because he was one of the first people that, like, when I went to Bonneville the first time, myself and Mike Kleiman stayed on the floor of their hotel room, him and this guy Ron, they're both bigger guys. They were both sleeping in a double bed, just because when everybody went to Bonneville, there wasn't a lot of hotel rooms, so everybody was like, double beds were full, and Mike and I were like, we need a place to stay. So they were like, you can stay on our floor. So we stayed on the floor in their room at the Wendover Nugget. So that was cool. I've known him a long time, and I'm just appreciative of him. So anyways, that's that. I don't know if I'm ending the video now or if I got more stuff to do, but if I'm ending it now, subscribe, hit the like button, comment, do those things. But I'm probably not gonna end the video now. So anyways, later guys. Timmy was just saying how it doesn't look like we did anything, but now the air that's inside of there can get out of there. Just finalizing a couple last things. Making another battery box for that other battery. The wire's already run. Battery's gonna go there. Wire that's gotta go to it's gotta go there, which runs the electric water pump and the electric fan, which is just operated by a switch. So super basic. We have like 1 hour right now until the car has to be like done, tonneau cover on it, ready to go on the trailer. So Taylor just had to run to the store to pick up a couple battery terminals, because stupid stuff like that it's like, if you don't have it, what are you gonna do? So we didn't have it, so he's running to go get those. Other than that, it's pretty much done. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now it's gonna crank and crank, it won't start. Gonna be sick. TROG car is complete. It's all together. Everything is pretty much working. The new clutch is almost non-existent. It's like a switch, on or off. And I don't know, I'm a little concerned with it. You know, at least trying to drive it in the parking lot, it's like, it's just too much. Like, there's no engagement. It's just like flick, flick. So I guess that's fine for racing on soft surfaces, but it's not gonna, you know, I don't think it'll hold up for very long on the pavement. But for the most part, the car is all set. It looks sick. I mean, this car always looks awesome. Deck lid all louvered. It's together and operational. I'm so happy this thing is finally completed. Gosh, it was a stressful, not totally stressful, but it's been a lot of work for the last couple of weeks. You know, Al busted his butt putting the motor together and getting it all, you know, ready, and then, you know, just getting this thing back together and, you know, better than it was is like, whew, there's a lot. So good thing is we're ready to rock. The car is loaded on Al's trailer and they are off. They are right now driving across the country to go to the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. And then from there, they're gonna go to El Mirage Dry Lake Bid in Southern California to race the car at El Mirage. It was a ton of work. To everybody that helped, thank you so much. For you guys, if you like this kind of content, obviously hit the like button. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and subscribe to the channel. Have a good one, see ya.